Now, speaking of stuff going on YouTube, let's take a look at this. Here we go. We got another person running for president, everybody. Tom Steyer.
Steyer, one of the most influential activists in Democratic Party politics.
He is the founder and president of Next Gen America.
I think what people believe is that the system has left them. I think people believe that the corporations have bought the democracy.
No. Okay, we don't believe that. No belief is necessary there. We don't believe that. We know it's happening because it is. I'm nitpicking on language a little bit here. I get that. I get it. The people believe that the system left. No. The system left us behind, Tom. You're a billionaire. So, by the way, Tom Steyer is a billionaire who's now running for president because that's a perspective we don't get enough of. But anyway, let's go on. I don't want to sound too harsh right away because we're going to talk about this. But the word believe, not necessary there. We don't believe it, Tom. It's happening. You believe in a God or, something that can't be proven. We know that the corporations bought our politics. We know that. That's a fact. That's a provable fact. We know that they've left working people behind. That's a provable fact. There's study after study after study that indicates that public opinion doesn't go into any political decision-making. Conducted by Ivy League schools, Tom. All right, so no belief necessary. So, nice little flowery, skating around. What's really going, the people believe they've been left behind. We're going to try to no, we've been left behind. All right, but let's go on.
That the politicians don't care about or respect them.
That's because they don't.
Don't put them first.
That's because they
don't.
Working
for them.
Yeah, that's all true.
Actually working for the people who have rigged the system.
That's all true, Tom. That's all true, Tom. Nobody believes that. Those are facts. That's true. You don't have to believe or not believe in it. You can acknowledge it or just deny it. But anyway, he's saying some nice things here. So let's, me, I get nitpicky about people believe that. No, that's what's happening. You don't need the word people believe this. Like this is what's happening. Anyway, all right, let's move on.
Really what we're doing is trying to make democracy work by pushing power down to the people.
California voters are getting a chance to do what California lawmakers failed to do.
Prop 56 got a lot of support at the polls.
The oil company sponsored a new ballot initiative to halt California's new law.
I was born in 1957. I grew up right in the middle of the Civil Rights Revolution and the Vietnam War. The underlying injustice in America was coming under attack. My father graduated from Yale Law School at 21, started being a lawyer, then he went into the Navy because of Pearl Harbor.
All right, okay. So he's saying some nice things here about what's going on, about how, hey, the people, the government is working for corporations, elected officials don't put the people first. We got to get big money out of politics. He talks a lot about the climate. Those are all nice things, but it's coming from a billionaire who made $1 billion in finance largely. Now he does some nonprofit work, but he made his fortune largely in finance. He made $1 billion, which, by the way, you don't make $1 billion ethically, okay? That doesn't happen. You don't make $1 billion ethically. And billionaires shouldn't happen. And here's the thing. If you have $1 billion, let's go to an article about this. Because, he's saying nice things in that commercial. He is saying nice things, albeit I was nitpicky about his language. But this is coming from a guy who made $1 billion in finance, who now, and he signed a pledge to give away half his fortune, which that's cool. That's good. He's doing something like that. Bill Gates signed it too. I think Bill Gates was the founder of the idea. And he runs a nonprofit committed to climate change. He's also real focused on impeaching Trump, so let's get into an article from Democracy Now! Here about this. Billionaire Democratic donor Tom Steyer enters the 2020 race. Billionaire Tom Steyer entered the crowded 2020 Democratic primary race Tuesday. The prominent Democratic donor and former hedge fund investor said he will put $100 million of his own money into his campaign, starting with television ads in key states. He's repeatedly called for impeaching President Trump, but his focus, his early campaign messaging on tackling climate change, creating a government-backed healthcare option, so that's not Medicare for all, by the way, and tackling big oil, big pharma, and big banks. Okay, so here's the deal. If you have $1 billion, which this guy has. He's a billionaire, which, by the way, shouldn't happen. Billionaires should not happen. You have $1 billion and you really want to do something about climate change and you really want to do something about money in politics. You should be fully committed to organizations working on these issues. And I know he has a nonprofit, and I'm not familiar with the entire scope of that nonprofit's work. So maybe he's doing some of that stuff. I can't speak to everything his nonprofit has done. But why are you running for president? You have all these resources. Why is running for president even remotely in your peripheral? Well, because Donald Trump set a new standard. Donald Trump set the standard of, hey, look what I can do. Because when you reach the amount of wealth that this guy has reached, your entire life just becomes a big measuring contest. That's what your entire life becomes, right, Lucy? Just a big measuring contest. I know what you're thinking. $1 billion buys a lot of cat treats. I know. But don't you get enough? Don't I make it work for you? You get plenty of cat treats. When you let me brush you, because it's summertime, you need brushed every day. You know what's weird is that she likes being brushed. She just, eventually she's like, okay, you're done now. And I'm like, no, we're not done yet. You got to be. And then she's like, no, fuck it. I'm done. And I'm like, you're being really prissy about this. You know, like, why can't you just let me brush you? And then when it's finished, you get a treat. You know how this ends. You get a treat when it's over. And you enjoy it. Like it feels nice. It's removing excess hair. It cools you off. It's I don't know. Right? Now she's looking at me. She's like, oh, you're complaining? What are you complaining about? Anyway, so this dude's a billionaire. There's so many things you could do. Like he could collaborate with different politicians on, hey, what's a Green New Deal trying to accomplish exactly? How can I help in the private sector? By the way, he has access to other billionaires. He can say, hey, other billionaires, here's what we can do for green new energy. This is what we can do. You know, a lot of these people in big oil, the people at the very top, they just want to make money and they don't care who they step on. So if you strip away the financial incentive from fossil fuels, they'll invest in something else. I'm not saying like, you know, that's moral because like they're just concerned about money above all else. But what I'm saying is that this guy has the power to do so many things that if he was really committed to climate change, he could do so many things, so many actions he could take with the resources he has. That the fact that he's running for president is just proof that when you reach this amount of wealth, your life just becomes a measuring contest. So Donald Trump showed all the other 1%ers, hey, look at what I can do. I can go from buying the politicians to having political power myself. We can do that. Isn't that neat? I just did it. Go me. So now other people, Steyer's one of them, oh, I want to do that. He can do that. I want to be able to do that. And that's what this is. This guy is not going to inspire anybody. You know, that's why he made this 4-minute video where he goes, you know, he makes a couple okay points. A little soft in the language, but some okay points that are true. Then he doesn't really lay out a full plan. And then he goes on talking about, you know, his background and his dad and this and that and stuff he's accomplished. If you've shown that stuff can be accomplished outside of electoral politics, which they certainly can be when you have those amount of resources, why wouldn't you just focus on tackling climate change with the resources you have? And collaborating with people that you could actually help, and then getting behind an actual progressive like a Bernie Sanders or a Tulsi Gabbard. Why wouldn't you do that? If you're really committed to these causes, if your big causes are fighting big oil, getting money out of politics, fighting big pharma, tackling climate change, running for president should be the last thing on your list. But not this guy. Why? Well, because the world's a measuring contest when you're that guy with that amount of wealth. So there you have it. There you have it. Another billionaire running for president. Because that's a perspective we need. we need Tom Steyer. Somebody described him as the decaf Howard Schultz. Unlike Howard Schultz, at least this guy can verbally express the problem. That's more than Howard Schultz could do. So I will give this to this guy. At least he can say things where it's like, oh, well, this guy understands these problems, or he can at least verbalize them. Whether he fully understands them or not, I have my doubts. But he can at least say them out loud. That's more than Howard Schultz could do. What a low bar we have, though. Hey, this guy can at least say real problems. Howard Schultz wasn't even able to do that. Howard Schultz could not express a real problem that regular Americans face. That's how disconnected he was. This guy, Tom Steyer, he can at least say real problems. Maybe because he's done some philanthropy work, so he has at least had some exposure to regular people. That's not presidential material, though. Although very few things are. So anyway, another billionaire running for president. If he was really committed to these causes, there's a lot better things you could do with $1 billion. And I think we all know that. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your